Alright, so there's a lot of you apparently that don't know that Palworld has, I don't know about an extensive amount of lore, but it has a lot of lore that's in the game to be discovered. So what I decided to do was early in the morning when I stream, instead of playing the game, I wanted to do a dive into some of the lore and see what it's about. With that being said, I picked out 3 videos that I'm blindly reacting to about the Palworld lore, and at the end I'ma just give some of my thoughts, and throughout the video I'm gonna give some of my thoughts, react. It's gonna be a nice, good, fun time. So with that being said, before you even continue, hit the like button. That's your toll. You're not allowed to watch the rest of the video until you hit like or subscribe, or both is cool. That being said, let's press play.
Diving into Palworld, I wasn't expecting much of a story. In most survival games, especially by indie devs, while crafting items is often a huge component, there's usually very little care put into crafting a narrative. Games like Ark are a rare example of a survival game that at least has a thoughtful story and tons of lore, but I didn't know what to expect with Palworld. I mean, surely this...
See, like, even with Ark, I've never played Ark, but I didn't know Ark had a story, because most of the time, like, a lot of these early access Steam type games don't have a story at all.
Game about adorable little Pokemon creatures that you can equip with guns wouldn't have that much to say, right? Well, what if I told you that Palworld's lore provides a commentary on many different aspects of our own world, such as the hypocrisy of the way some of us treat animals, the corruption of government and police forces, the destruction of the drug epidemic, and the sheer brutality of humanity in destroying not only themselves, but the creatures that inhabit the world with us.
That is a fact, because I remember looking, I don't remember what it's called, but there's like a butterfly Pokemon where people get high off of their wings, and like I read that in a PAL deck and I was like, what the heck? Like they talk about cartel smugglers, and even one time I was playing a game and I randomly seen like some what you call it, some people from something called like the PAL Protection Force or something like that, which are both basically supposed to be like a parody of PETA. So like he's right, there's a surprising amount of lore in this game, which is also why I wanted to make this video in the first place.
That and more is what I'm going to go over in this video as we cover what it is that makes the island of Palworld so unique, what all of its characters represent, and how the gameplay is not the only thing making a statement to the gaming industry and the world overall. The writing is not perfect by any means, especially because some of it seems to have been lost in translation between Japanese to English. But there is a lot of it, and what Palworld does best is the world building of the mysterious Palpagos Island. And speaking of the world, how exactly is the lore disseminated to the player, you may be wondering? Well, Palworld uses epistolary like many games in the survival genre.
Wait, does this have actual good captions? Okay. I hope that's the word it means.
Delivered through letters, notes, journal entries, or in this case, memos left across the game world.
And that's one of those things where, like, I always say that, like, one of the hardest mediums to preserve and one of the most creative mediums to tell stories has been video games. Because, like, video games are the only thing where you can give people everything they need to know the story, and not everybody will be able to say they had the same experience with the story. Because, like, for example, let's say there are 50 letters in the game and you have to find each of them, and you're not specifically searching for the letters, you're just finding them randomly. So let's say you only find 10 letters. Your theories and thoughts about the game and its story is going to be different from somebody who found all 50 letters, for example. Gaming's the only medium where something like that can happen, and let's say y'all both read all 50 letters, y'all might have a different interpretation. Or let's say y'all both read 40 letters, but the 40 letters y'all read aren't the exact same 40 letters, so this person may have a piece of the story that you may have in your head, and vice versa. That's like one of the coolest things about gaming ever.
They're left by one of 6 characters, and there are 39 in total right now. So without further ado, let's jump right in, starting with the character more relatable to your own, the Castaway. They have no gender defined.
I'm from New York, so I can't sing the Castaway song, but, you know, the song go hard.
Their memo, so they may be either male or female.
Backyard again song.
The Castaway was an explorer that wanted to discover the hidden places of the world. They came from outside of Palpagos Island and originally knew nothing of it, but they noticed an empty spot on their map of the world and decided to sail out towards that spot, since it was kind of unusual for it to be so empty, so uncharted. When they eventually made it near the
So you said we playing Nathan Drake? Got you, gang.
Island, they found a thick fog that shrouded the whole thing, and it was making it hard to navigate. Eventually, after trying to steer away, they couldn't escape the fog, and they were attacked. By a person, by a creature, who knows? But when they came to, their ship was wrecked, and now the castaway was stranded. They made it to the island, one which existed in no database to their...
I'm sorry, bro. I'm not saying I support it, but bro, I just can't resist saying it. Stuck where we are.
Knowledge. It appeared I'm not punching my hips, though. The world. The castaway wondered why it had never been discovered before, why it wasn't on any maps. They theorized that their vessel was attacked to keep the island concealed, undiscovered. Once the castaway made it to the shore...
Basically, they said, we don't want to be found. We are Themyscira. We don't want nobody to know where we at.
Or they found the Sheikah tablet from Zelda Breath of the Wild. Oh, hey, what are you doing there, buddy? This thing, obviously not the Zelda Sheikah tablet, but something very similar, was capable of...
Yo, they got iPhones on the Pal Island? What the hell?
Recording images and displaying information. It is, of course, the same tablet that you pick up when you first start the game. So with their newfound iPad, the castaway began taking pictures and documenting their findings. They quickly realized that the island had all kinds of living creatures, unlike anything found in the rest of the world.
I don't know why, but the way Kativa runs is just so funny to me. Like, gotta go get my crack. Head ass run.
A bright blue sphere caught the castaway's eyes, and when they picked up and tossed the thing, curious about it, the sphere landed near one of the creatures and absorbed it. The castaway threw the sphere again, and the creature that was...
That's one of the funniest things in this game. You could punch a damn sheep and do a backflip. I love Palworld.
Reappear.
It's way better than that shitty ass game made by that small studio that nobody cares about. What's the name of that bullshit studio? They be making those dog shit games that don't even work. They on that console that people only brought because they couldn't get a PS5 or they wanted to play Smash Bros. Oh, and then Nintendo and damn, what's the name of that studio? They make that shitty Pokerman's Poker Nigga game. What the fuck is it called? Oh, Gamefreak. Yeah. Way better than the bullshit that Gamefreak be making.
Suddenly becoming their companion. They decided to name this creature a Pal. They dubbed the island they had discovered Palpagos Island. Through exploring, the castaway discovered many things, including ruins with murals on the walls and symbols with instructions on how to craft more of the spheres they had used to tame a Pal earlier.
Oh, and you know what's crazy about Palworld? One thing I want to say about Palworld is, like, if you actually go around and discover the world, you'll find a lot of statues and stuff like that. Because there's been times where I've just been riding around on, like, my mounts or whatever, and I've just discovered a big statue of, like, 2 pals fighting, or I'll discover a settlement camp or a fast travel point or other stuff like that. So, like, the world in Palworld feels very thought out, feels very deliberate, and it feels like it wasn't rushed. It feels like every part of the world and every spawn location was very well thought of and well crafted with a purpose and a meaning. And even though it's in early access, I won't say that it's a finished game, but it feels as close to a finished game as, like, any of these early access games I've played has ever felt, for me personally, specifically.
It needed wood, stone, and a resource they eventually named Paldium, a blue energy infused ore. This allowed the castaway to craft more spheres, and they tamed more pals with them. The castaway eventually amassed a crew of these things, including ones that resembled a sheep.
I'm sorry, I can't resist it. We are
a bird and a cat. They helped divvy up the work for the cat.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why is my J acting funny? Alright, so let me check my internet real quick, y'all. Hold on, give me a second. Ooh. Okay, no, it says my up and my down is good. So why does it keep lagging?
Castaway, reminding them of how the ancient civilization here must have worked with pals to prosper. The pals did not appear to be that intelligent on their own, but they did work hard and they worked pretty well together.
I'm just getting mad watching this gameplay and seeing all these human colored people. You fucking human colors.
If the pals had helped build the ruins, the castaway theorized that perhaps this had something to do with why they were destroyed. Since they'd arrived, the castaway noticed a giant tree in the distance, theorizing that it could be some kind of world tree.
What giant tree?
There's something odd that's bothered me since I arrived here. Far off in the distance, I can see what looks like an enormous tree, big enough to be the so-called world tree spoken about in so many myths. Still, it's so large that no amount of fog would be enough to obscure it from view from outside the island. The only hypothesis I can come up with is that something other than the fog enveloping this island prevents it from being seen by the outside world. In other words, some kind of mechanism must be preventing it from being seen from the outside. It seems likely that the mysterious powers these pals have has something to do with them. One day, they discovered a pal riding on an Eikthyr, a deer-like pal, and they tried mimicking this behavior by attaching a saddle to a similar pal and riding on it. This helped the castaway explore the island further. Eventually...
Yeah, it really does, because running in this game is really, really slow, and like upgrading, I don't even think you can upgrade your speed. If you can upgrade your speed, it's not all that.
Through exploration, they discovered a tower in the distance, and while heading towards it, they were ambushed by a man with a gun. Their sheep, of all things, protected them from the assailant, but not long after escaping, they were attacked by the same person again, which the castaway's pals ultimately defended against, killing the attacker. At this point, the person started to feel like this island drove people to do the worst kinds of things, removing people's sense of ethics.
I never had a sense of ethics walking into this game. Yes, sir! They said that the Portuguese started the triangle slave trade. Just say Portuguese then. If that's the case, you feel me? I'll be working my pals to death, boy. My pals be sitting over there depressed as a bitch.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. After finally arriving to the tower, our castaway heard lots of gunfire from what seemed to be conflicting groups, but pressed on nonetheless.
Oh yeah, and this is the thing, I don't know if it was on stream or not, but this is the thing that you could really see in the world. Like, there was a time where I was just walking around playing a game, and I seen some like the that's what it was called. That's the name of the force I was trying to call upon earlier. There's a faction in the game called the PAL Freedom Force, and they were like just randomly in the world fighting some of the syndicate thugs, and like there's just random interactions you'll see like that. Now the AI isn't all that advanced, so I helped the PAL Freedom Fighters fight off the syndicate thugs, and then afterwards, instead of like congratulating me, like saying thanks for the help, here's some coins or something like that, they just say, okay, cool, now let me beat your ass. And like their AI wasn't smart enough to realize that I just helped them take down the syndicate thugs and free the PAL. But that's like something they could improve, because like one thing I've been hearing, because like even though I like the game and I already brought it, I've been watching review after review of this game just like for fun, and that's one thing that I see a lot of people are saying this game like has a problem with. Like, the story interactions are, I'm not gonna say horrible, but they definitely need work, because like even with the fact that I was able to find 3 large lore dives on this game, there's lore here to be discovered and explored. It's just, as I said earlier, you wouldn't know that by the simplicity of the interactions with the NPCs and stuff like that. Like, a lot of the time you'll interact with the NPCs and they'll say life is great and then walk off, and they'll have like a whole ass branching life story with the arc in the game that you'll never even know was there unless you go to the specific letters and stuff like that. So like, one thing I can say is improving the way that the story is delivered, because a lot of people think that this story doesn't have game, and I'm talking about people that have 20-30 hours on this game. I've talked to them and they go, there's lore? Like, yeah, there's lore in this game, and it's pretty good. Oh, I pressed the pause button on the wrong thing.
At the tower, they accidentally pressed on a slab and were transported to an arena where a large PAL and their human owner sat dormant, guarding the place. The castaway ran in terror, and before they knew it, they woke outside the tower.
Oh yeah, I beat up one of those before. I'm not scared of those anymore. I'm not. I was never scared of them, but now I got the resources to show them I'm not scared. Yeah. So
avoiding the towers for now, they did more research into that.
They scared of RPT. They avoided the towers.
According to runes, the ancients must have lived in luxury alongside PALs, but clearly this way of life was lost. Perhaps the towers and their power had something to do with it. Could their ability to teleport have been what potentially destroyed previous human civilization on Palpagos Island? Until now, the castaway had been eating a more herbivorous diet, but when they saw a PAL consuming the flesh of another PAL, this gave them the idea to try it out for themselves, slaughtering a bird type and frying them up, making some Kentucky Fried PALs.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, and you know what's crazy? Like, I found out in this game that like you can legitimately, like when you're at base and stuff like that, you can legitimately cut up your PALs and feed them to other PALs, and based on what PAL there is, they get more or less nutrition from certain things. Like, for example, if you feed like one of the damn, I can't remember what his name, but the wolf looking pal, dire howl, that's what it's called. If you feed like a dire howl some berries, it'll get a regular amount of nutrition. But if you feed them like roast Ethica deer meat or something like that, like they'll get more health regeneration, and it'll give them more, I don't know what it's called, but that orange bar that determines how hungry you are, it'll give you more of that, so that you're not sitting there. You get what I'm trying to say though, right? Like it'll give your character more health, so that they're not just sitting there starving. That meter, that mechanic, if you give them meat, it'll take away more of their hunger than if you give them berries, for example. And then like if they're like a herbivore or like a plant-based pal, it's the other way around.
KFP. This helped aid in their strength, and when they found a giant pal in a large open field, most likely one of the many open-world pal bosses we fight ourselves in-game, the castaway ran in a panic. They recalled their size and tried to understand how some pals could possibly get so large. What was their source of energy?
Motherfucker said, "What are you eating? What are they feeding you? What are you feeding you?" It's not like most of these people that have pals are feeding their pals. Most of these pals are just wild.
Couldn't just come
and I'm here to tame them.
Photosynthesis alone, right? It had to be something else. Again, perhaps it had something to do with the tower. Maybe the tower relied on the same energy source the pals did. But
damn, in Palworld we gotta go to RPT. In Palworld we gotta go to 4747. In Palworld we gotta go to non-4Gs, no Gs like these. Jack bigger P's, you heard? Wait, hold up. I wanna see how fast I can say it. Not for G's, no G's like these. No wait, what is it? Not for G's, no G's like these. Not for G's, no G's like these. Jack B's, we jack big B's. Drop that shit, we gonna let us skis. Boom. Hey, I can say it pretty fast. Hold on. And this is off the wake up. Not for G's, no G's like these. No wait, I forgot it. Not for G's, no G's like these. Jack B's, we jack big B's. Drop my shit, we gonna let skis. Not for G's, no G's like these. Jack B's, we jack big B's. Drop my shit, we gonna let skis. Yap level 100.
Through some human intervention, at least the castaway theorized. In further domesticating and taming more pals, they took note of the fact that pals don't breed like normal animals. It basically just requires a male and female pair, and eventually an egg just kind of appears.
Nah, that sounds like some spontaneous generation head-ass type of theory. So basically, and for those of you who don't know what spontaneous generation, long story short, back in like the early 1900s, 100 years ago, basically, there were some dumbass scientists that thought that if a certain condition was met, things just appeared, like he said. So, for example, they thought that if you leave meat out too long to rot, that eggs of maggots like baby flies would just appear and just start to grow in the meat because it was rotting, when really it was because animals would lay their eggs in rotting meat, or meat that smelled like it was getting ready to go bad, so that their animals could hatch and eat it and have something good to eat. That's what really was happening. But according to dumbass scientists back then, they thought it was spontaneous generation. They thought meat rotted up, maggots just appeared. Like, no, bro. It's not how it works. So it's probably just something you're not noticing.
Also, the bodies of dead pals seem to just vanish out of thin air, strangely. This would imply they're magical in some way, or that the energy that guides them is more complex than anything known by man outside the island.
Probably that.
Where do pals come from? And where do they go when they die? Is there a pal heaven? More inscriptions taught the castaway about how to create pal boxes, compressing the pal spheres even further and teleporting them across distances, just like how we can ourselves when playing. Becoming accustomed to the island, the castaway began giving their pals guns, and building a seasoned, large team of them, they traveled far and wide, discovering...
Oh yeah, I've definitely traveled far and wide while I was playing this game. That's a fact.
More evidence of the ancient civilization. Having now journeyed far from where I first drifted ashore, I've come across a massive statue in the shape of a pal. I am nearly certain it is a legacy of the ancient civilization. But why would humans build a statue such as this? Everything I've found thus far has suggested that pals lived alongside these ancients as equals. But constructing a monument like this must mean so...
Yeah, that must mean y'all looked at them as gods, or y'all looked at them as like royalty on some level.
Were also objects of worship. Perhaps there are certain pals out there that have a special significance both to people and to pals.
Well, I found out this game, I don't know what they're called in this game, but I found out this game basically has shinies.
And that is where the Castaway journals end. But that last journal especially proves very telling. The Castaway was not wrong. The significance of certain pals to certain people is a critical...
Why is my CPU so high right now and I'm not even like doing anything? Like I literally have nothing open. Okay.
Factor for the other characters who appear as bosses in the game, guarding the various towers alongside their large, threatening, and unusually obedient and loyal pals. Zoe Rain was...
Yo? Did that musket just do 999 damage?
Large, threatening, and unusually obedient and loyal pals. Zoe...
Oh, no. That was the musket. I was about to say. That was a boss in there. That's another thing. When I play Palworld, I might play it today. I might not. There's a lot, like... Oh, I have to transfer over my save data. But there's, I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Rain was one such person who would go on to acquire one of these very loyal pals. Growing up without a family, her dad went to go get milk a long time ago, and she never even saw her mother. She was raised by syndicate thugs and a pal named Grisbald. The only reason the thugs let her stick around was because her dad used to be one of the bosses.
I packed Grisbald easily. First time, first try, no struggle.
In the gang. Foreshadowing her eventual role. Eventually, the thugs decided that they wanted to sell Grisbald, since to them, pals were merely tools that ought to be sold for cash if that cash outweighed the pal's usefulness. This upset Zoe. She loved Grisbald, so she waited until night and let Grisbald out of the cage, running away with her. They both got very hungry by evening the next day, and ultimately returned to the base, where they were scolded and both locked up. But Grisbald became furious, and some latent power was activated within her, and she fought off the thugs using a lightning bolt that knocked them all out for hours. Zoe remained by Grisbald's side ever since, while Zoe seemed to stay with the thugs, forcing them to...
Oh, I was about to say, how you set somebody on fire with a crossbow, but I forgot there are fire and poison crossbows.
Bend her newfound position.
I didn't even need a crossbow to pack up Grisbald. I just know how to switch out master, you feel me? Clap it up for me, switch out master.
As boss, she took note of a group that the thugs had fought for as long as she had ever known, a group called the Free Pal Alliance, or FPA. She never understood
free pals, like
why they were fighting, especially
free them so they could go on my plantation, by the way.
Especially since the FPA seemed like good people, considering they allegedly loved pals so much.
Sometimes
they don't like the people more.
I wonder if there's anything beyond the sea. The only thing I can see far off in the distance.
I don't know if this is like a legit audio log from the game, because I don't know if there are audio logs in this game. I don't know if this is audio log or like if he hired somebody from Fiverr to like read out one of the notes or something.
PA seemed like good people, considering they allegedly loved pals so much.
Allegedly.
Sometimes I wonder if there's anything beyond the sea. The only thing I can see far off in the distance is that huge tree. I've never heard anyone talk about what's beyond that place.
Them was
Apparently,
bars.
some brave guy from long ago went to see the outside world, but he never came back. I've heard about...
Hey, let me go get something from the outside world real quick. Never came back.
People coming from beyond the sea, though. I don't know what those kinds of people do.
This one thing I can say is fun about the game. The AI in this game is kind of stupid, so like you can abuse it and do stuff like this all the time. And I don't know about y'all, but to me that's low-key fun.
But they say they use tools different from our own. That's why I know there must be something beyond the sea. A whole bunch of islands, a whole bunch of people.
Say bless you in the comments.
A whole bunch of things. It sounds scary, but I'd like to try going sometime.
Zoe ultimately ended her diary entries when she decided to follow in her father's footsteps. As the boss of these syndicate thugs, she stayed put, guarding one of the towers just like her father had long ago. She took to it, never quite knowing why he did it in the first place, merely mimicking his behavior.
From what I've heard about it, they say there's a legend passed down on this island. They said this tower is some...
Yo, he's just been sitting here shooting his fucking fire arrows while they haven't fought back. Bro don't even got a pal put out because his land ball is dead. I didn't even lose any pals to this boss. This boss is pussy.
Somehow related to that legend, and then it has some big, great power. What kind
why are
of
you
power,
shooting her? Shoot the damn pal.
Even if that's true, why does this power have to be protected? Anyway, even though I don't really know why, I'm always here, protecting this tower. There are other towers around the island, and they...
Raina gotta protect RPT?
people like me guard them all.
Speaking of other people who guard the other towers, let's talk about Zoe's indirect rival, Lily Everhart. This woman, being part of the FPA, had strict standards for the treatment and inclination towards pals. According to her, the noble being...
God damn, that is horribly animated. This could have been such a great shot, but jeez, whoever's job it was to animate this, go watch it. Go on YouTube. I don't know what y'all using, Unity, Blender. Go on YouTube. Look up some Unity animation tutorials. Look up how to keyframe, how to play with the rigs and all that, and fix this shit up, because this ain't it, bruh.
Beings upheld human civilization since ancient times. PALs have incredible reflexes, intelligence, and other such attributes that make them invaluable. She thought,
why is every person in this game regular skin colored? I want to see, like, not even regular skin colored. Like, why is everybody in this game white on top of that? Like, not only is everybody skin colored when this game has access to, like, purple and pink characters, but, like, why is everybody white? Like, so far playing this game, I just thought about that. I don't think I've seen anybody who isn't black that isn't your character. Hey, shout out you for liking the live. I also forgot to turn on my damn notifications for the live. Let me turn that on now.
Humans were savage compared to PALs, and that humans and PALs were originally meant to live alongside each other and mutually support each other, instead of the horrible relationship between master and servant that existed then and now as we play the game. The idea of harmony...
Oh yeah, and they're the servant and I'm the master. That was the right sound to be playing when I said that.
A PAL, or even worse, eating one, she thought was akin to blasphemy against God. One day, there was a thick fog preventing Lily from seeing well, but suddenly she heard noises coming from PAL poachers.
I will recount the day I met Lylene.
Courtesy of Levis. Who the fuck is Levis?
I remember that the fog was so thick that day that I could scarcely see in front of my very eyes. I was simply walking along the berry fields, as I am so fond of doing, when I heard the clamorous voices of those abhorrent poachers.
Reload
when
time.
I looked to where I could hear the sound.
Yo, that's the second time he threw out land ball and they just got clapped off the rip with an infinite 9. Land balls are horrible at battle, I see. Good thing I never use them to fight anybody. Jeez.
Sound of their filthy screams. I saw them throwing spears at a PAL resembling a vivid lily flower. She was so beautiful and elegant.
Those bubbles have tracking?
Dirty hearts through the back.
Yo, that bear is freaking stupid. Also, that reminds me of that pink bear from Smash. I don't remember their name, but like if you play Smash Bros and you've ever used items, you know what I'm talking about. It's one of the most one of the more common assist trophy items. I mean characters. It's this pink bear that does this big ass uppercut. This design right here. Wait, can y'all see my mouse? Oh, if it'll go to the right thing. This design right here reminds me of that pink bear from Smash.
And destroyed their scattered spears. They shot at me a few times, but it was a trivial matter. I could not touch such a beautiful flower with my trembling, blood-stained hands. Instead, I returned immediately to my base.
Okay, I'm gonna assume that these are like voice actors off of Fiverr or some shit like that, because like I don't remember hearing any voice logs in this game, and this game barely has voice acting.
When I arrived, I found the Queen of the Lilies there, awaiting me. When she touched my arm, my wounds were healed, and the fatigue began to fade away. From that day forward, I decided to become companions with my queen. She's the only flower that blooms in the sad...
The way that this PAL just slowly lumbers is intimidating, high key.
Dark world.
Her next memo goes on to promote the FPA, explaining its 5 commandments.
Won't you join the Free PAL Alliance? The Free PAL...
Hell no. I'm trying to free PALs onto my plantation. Fuck is you talk about?
PAL Alliance is a long-standing organization that works to protect PALs. We've lived
ring around
together
the
with PALs
rosy.
since antiquity, and each of us has a deep love for the wondrous creatures. We have 5 traditional commandments. Thou must not eat PALs. Thou must...
I already broke that one.
Must not overwork PALs.
Damn sure broke that one.
Thou must not abuse PALs.
I do that constantly.
Thou must not use PALs for experiments.
I was eventually gonna do it.
Thou must risk thy life to protect PALs.
Damn sure not doing that. If my PAL get clapped, why the fuck would I go get clapped too? Who gonna tell everybody that my PAL got clapped?
Wouldn't you like to join us and protect the PALs you love?
Fuck no, I'm trying to kill them niggas.
Your life in service of protecting PALs is a small price to pay. The flesh and blood of humans exists only for the glory of PALs.
You literally said people are less important than pals. I don't know about that one.
In her final diary entry, Lily went on...
My inner instincts for survival disagrees with that.
...to describe how there are some places off the shore of the island where certain pals live. None of these types existed on the main island, making them rather rare. She worried that pals would go extinct across the island since their numbers historically were being reduced as new people washed up on the shore. She petitioned the Palpagos Islands Defense Force, or PIDF, to assist with protection, though the FPA had to pay a hefty sum in exchange for said protection. Strangely, her subordinates in the FPA went to her with lots of new revenue, but she never understood how they could gather so much money,
Oh, I can tell you. I'm part of it.
Especially by simply raiding poacher camps. This suggests and proves what we see in game, which is that the FPA subordinates are secretly going against Lily's wishes, doing exactly what the poachers have done as well, capturing, mistreating, and ultimately selling pals in exchange for money, while giving it to Lily without disclosing where it came from. This seems to be a parallel between our own role.
Yo, this man has broke the AI every time he's fought against one of these damn pals. A lot of these other chapters seem shorter, so I feel like Zoe Rain and what's the other one? Not a Castaway. It was another one before this, but whatever character was before this is Lily and Zoe Rain. Okay, Zoe Rain was the syndicate chick, but it seems like Lily and Zoe Rain are some of the more important characters in this game because all the rest of these look very fucking small. Like the rest of the chapters in the video.
Regular people who eat, breed, and otherwise interact with animals in ways that can benefit us. You and I both, unless you're some kind of vegetarian or vegan, eat animals, but every now and then we're confronted with the reality of what that looks like behind closed doors.
No, I'm not. I've seen it.
You know, the brutality of killing animals for food, or the gray area of breeding animals for pet industries, and so on. Just like Lillian.
Yeah, breeding animals for pet industries, though, it feels kind of like weird and eugenicsy, and like I don't like the idea of eugenics because the two biggest examples I know of eugenics involve a lot of racism and discrimination and lower class treatment of humans in general. So yeah, I don't like the idea of breeding dogs. Like, even with my dog, somebody wanted to breed their dog with my dog, and I was like, for what? Because you're not breeding the dogs just to have the dogs to have more puppies. Come on now. I know you're breeding the dogs to sell them. So even my dog, the way that I got him is somebody was trying to start a new breed of dogs, and they had to be in at least 5 different states to be legally registered as a breed. So I didn't know about that before I got the dog, but that was just a result of how I got. Oh wait, he's not sitting here right now. Result of how I got the dog. He's here now, so I mean, can't do shit about it. All right, love the little fuckhead.
In Palworld, many of us say we love animals, just like how Lily loves pals, but also like Lily, we're most often blind to the fact that as a result of our actions, we inadvertently harm loads of them, and we even more often times struggle to come up with good arguments at some vegan.
What the fuck? You could do Twirling Fortress?
Inadvertently harm loads of them, and we even more often times struggle to come up with...
What the hell? I didn't know you could get a pal that up bees to get rid of rocks. Oh yeah, I need to find who the fuck that is.
Good argument.
Anybody in the comments, the pal that does Spinning Fortress, tell me who that is.
That some vegan won't refute with their logic.
Oh yeah, that's the last statue I've seen.
More oftentimes struggle to come up with good arguments that some...
Yeah, this is the latest statue I've seen. I just ran across this on this bridge.
Vegan won't refute with their logic and reasoning. Not that many of us really change our ways, but this is a video about Palworld, so let's get back to the main topic at hand. Yeah. The other organization mixed up with the FPA, the PIDF, is no stranger to underhanded or illegal behavior themselves.
Okay, the black market.
Acting as a kind of police force or government on the island, the PIDF and namely one of its officers, Marcus Dryden...
PIDFK. Fuck them. When I find a lead, I'ma clap them. When I find a base, when I level up and I find a base, I'm clapping every last one of them. Every PIDF shot
are involved in disturbing practices, to say the least. The incredibly inhumane and egotistical officer criticizes the stupidity of stimulant-addicted people around the desert that he seemingly protects.
Hey,
but to say he protects...
So he hates drug addicts? If you're addicted to drugs, he hates you? I don't know. Sounds like if he went to America during the war, before the war on drugs, he would have voted for the person who started the war on drugs.
The people is a bit of a stretch.
What a joke. All the idiots do around here is snort up stims. It's a real dump. There's no point in even trying to control...
Oh no, this nigga's racist. He definitely hates black people.
Control it.
He's the reason why there's no black people on the island. I just figured it out.
PIDF doesn't belong in a place like this. The guys I arrested today couldn't even pay the fine. Guess it's to be expected if they spend all their money getting a fix.
Hey, yo! How you know that's what they spent their money on? Oh, nah, I'm telling you, son. He is racially discriminating.
Bet they can't even imagine the money they pay ends up lining my pockets. I make a...
Hey, yo! Oh, nah. He's the type of person to sell crack at a crack house.
Profit when they buy...
I mean, not crack at a crack house. He's the type of person to sell crack at a rehab.
And then I make more when I arrest them for possession.
He's selling you for crack at a rehab and then sentencing you to jail. That's actually devious. Degree to man.
And I even get back my product to sell again when I confiscate what they have.
You're out. Wait. You got to really think about how crazy what he just said is. He said, I'm going to sell you something just so I could turn around and rob you and make more money off of robbing you and then take what I sold you just to sell it to somebody else. So if you buy crack from him, you're buying used crack that you're going to get arrested for, and then he's going to take and sell that used crack to somebody else. So you don't know what generation the use of this crack is. This crack could have, you think, not everybody puts the crack in their pocket. Some people put the crack in their anal cavity. Some people put the crack in a baggie in their mouth. So you don't know where this crack been. Somebody could have threw this crack under a bench to come get it later. You don't know where it's been or how it's been used or what people did with it. So you could very well be smoking crack with booty crumbs on it. That again, let's remember the most devious part of this is that you're still gonna get arrested for.
It's a grand scheme. They're idiots, and I'm a genius. This is just their punishment for being fooled. Understand? This island is just my little
The world does punish dumbasses.
sandbox to play on. For all I care, they can live their sad little lives without it.
Anything not suitable for your audience has been restricted. Okay, cool. Let me restart it. And those aren't too impressive stats. Anyway, let me see what my speed is looking like, because that shit was lagging all over the place. Holy cow. God damn. Bro, like, I don't get it. Sometimes I be sitting here and my Wi-Fi speed be like 100,000 damn miles per hour. Look, it's telling me I gotta set my settings to 480p. Sometimes my upload and like, I should have showed you what it was before. Before, my upload was like 70. Right now it's at 1. I don't know what the fuck, but my internet be fluctuating. I'm gonna just do the rest of this lore dive like off of live, because that shit is just lagging and fucking up the video anyway.
Ever knowing I'm the one supplying their fix and the one controlling it. If I let them get carried away, they'll just go off demanding rights that ain't fit for garbage like them.
Whoa.
As you can probably tell, this guy's a fucking asshole. He's
Whoa, fuck an asshole. An asshole is somebody like me who will just tell you you're a piece of shit, even though like that I know that'll hurt your feelings and make you break down crying. This nigga's devious. This nigga right here, he's devious.
Buys drugs to people,
he's very devious.
Cocaine, and then busts them for it and resells the.
It don't matter what it is. He's selling you drugs just so that he can lock you up for having drugs. He's giving you something to lock you up for just so he can make money off of you twice and then rob you and then sell what he robbed you for. That he originally is the one that sold you it before he robbed it from you.
Drugs that he busted them for. This seems to be a clear parallel in our real world to governments that support drugs like fentanyl getting into different countries like America and into supplies of both prescription and black market drugs, but taken to the extreme with the portrayal of this character. The brutality.
Oh, we got a memorist? Let me see what they be doing.
Police force, if you can even call it that, mirrors the often brutal circumstances of police and
see, when I was playing Palworld and I met those guards for the first time, I knew that something was up with them. Oh, I knew it, bro. I knew it.
Countries around the world too, and it immediately got me thinking about how there have been stories about cops that'll plant drugs in people's cars and then bust them for it.
That's very real.
Disgusting, and you probably didn't expect anything like that to be presented in this game.
I really didn't, because most people, again, most people know the marketing of this game as Pokemon with guns, and every time I talk to somebody about this game, I have to tell them this is not Pokemon with guns. This is Ark Survival with Pokemon. Big difference.
Certainly myself was not expecting that.
Most people think that this game is just you get to play Call of Duty and your Pikachu has a damn Glock. Like, no, bro, that's not what this game is.
Part of the lore of
Pikachu can get a Glock, but that's not the main focus.
Palworld of all games. Anyway, Marcus noticed that some syndicate thugs were eating into his profits by selling stims in his territory, and so, like he had a habit of doing, he let his partner, Valorous, a drug-addicted bird-type pal, obliterate the thugs. Marcus ultimately didn't trust...
What the fuck? He has a crack addict... This man has a crack addict emu. Wait, emus can't fly. Damn. This man has a crack addict eagle that he flies around on and attacks people with. This motherfucker's different. Imagine if you're just standing there and the cops just send a damn pigeon to bat your eyes out. Like, you're just standing there smoking your crack, getting ready to smoke your crack, and a hawk comes out of nowhere, steals your crack pipe. Then the police come, kick down your door, and lock you up. Like, that's some devious shit.
Trust Valorous that much, as the creature was rather unpredictable due to its behavior after snorting the cocaine, but he was ready to ride or die with this thing.
Another peaceful day on the island. More proof we're having fun playing house, right, Valorous? Don't worry, I get it. You've got the same eyes as me. You're having fun playing house too, yeah? Or maybe you're just waiting for me to fall over dead. You sure do like eating that white stuff, huh? Maybe the day will come when I'm just leftovers, stuck to your wings. Maybe not. Either way, let's just watch each other's backs until then. Right, partner?
While Marcus hardly had any concern for the complexity of pals beyond...
This motherfucker here is tweaking.
On how he could use them purely for his own ego and territory, Victor Ashford is quite the opposite, though in many ways no better. As commander of the PAL Genetic Research Unit, he had a deep...
Oh, fuck. Here comes the science shit.
Interest in understanding how pals function and how he could potentially modify them. At first, Victor's experiments to create four-legged pals with wings proved unsuccessful. He was able to create bodies, but they deteriorated within seconds and were all disposed of. He jotted down to reconsider different...
This motherfucker think he Wesker.
...chemicals to use, or trying Eikthyr antlers to create a compound to try next. Ultimately, he came to the conclusion that he would need better equipment from outside to build new, self-made blueprints to aid in his work. On the distillation and administration of pals to the same species results. Success. A certain species of pal was dissolved in liquid and concentrated via distillation.
That's what pal fluids are? I thought pal fluids would be like liquid from their brain, like spinal fluid or something like that. It's mishmash fluid? What the fuck?
Subsequently, the concentrated liquid was administered to pal of the same species. As expected, the result yielded an enhancement in the abilities of the administered pal.
Oh, I can't wait till I get in this game and find where all these bosses is hiding at so I could go beat the shit out them.
Impressions. This experiment...
The only boss I really am dying to meet is that damn cop boss. I really want to beat the shit out of him. When I get guns, I'm out. As soon as I get guns, because I have a lot of coarse ammo. Oh wait, I have a gun already. Oh, it's up for him.
Initiated as an alternative approach towards generating powerful pals, surprisingly yielded favorable outcomes.
The fuck out of that
Theories
rest for these last couple
that pals
battles.
of a certain species contain the nutrients most necessary for the same type of pal seem valid. This experiment has accordingly resulted in the enhancement of the test pal's abilities. However, there remains a slight doubt regarding whether the observed enhancement surpassed the anticipated values. Perhaps it is not merely a matter of basic nutrients, but rather we must question whether pals inherently possess a distinct energy source essential for their own existence. Further investigation is required. And with more time spent on experiments, Victor succeeded again. He finally made an original specimen, an artificially created pal with 4 legs and wings. But upon trying to reproduce the results, he wasn't able to. It seemed like this was a miracle of pal science.
So does that mean you can't catch any shadow beaks in the world?
Very satisfied with his new species, which he named...
You can ride the Mammoths? Ooh. When I gotta upgrade my capture rate so that I can catch the damn Mammoths.
Shadowbeak, Victor, like the many other leaders, guarded the tower nearest to him with his newfound and extraordinarily strong creature, though his lab assistant Alex had apparently disappeared, which brings us to our final character in the lore, one which may actually be Alex, but having rearranged the letters into Axel instead. This is purely a theory.
Definitely Alex.
But could be why it was mentioned that his assistant went missing. Either way, Axel Traverse, the final one of the tower bosses in the game,
is rather nah. That boy think he Playboy Cardi with his damn crop top on.
Full of himself. Being the leader of the Brothers of the Eternal Pyre group, Axel has only one memo. I think it's like a crappy series of rap lyrics.
Every day I'm snoring, no rifles to get me going. I don't care about they type, ain't nobody gonna beat my height. I'm looking for a fight, a real tough brother from another mother. Throwing in the towel ain't gonna cut it.
Nah, bro. Put that shit back in the drafts. Nah, bro.
It's gonna be a knockout, a throwdown brawl out, so fast your eyes will bleed. When we ready for the battle, you better believe the shock's gonna rock your socks off. Saw it off, my lightning is tougher than High King's. When it hits the ring, ain't nobody gonna be singing for you, play.
Bro, what the fuck is happening? But with that, we conclude the memos of Palworld, at least at this point in time. No doubt they'll add to the lore, and I really hope they do. I especially hope that they add proper voiceover to the game and flesh out the characters.
Yeah, oh my goodness,
ultimately,
that would be so good.
Palworld is a lot deeper than what you'll find at the surface level through the gameplay, and I hope that you now have a good
understanding. Because, like, one thing about Pokemon that I do know is that the series is very held back because it's owned by Nintendo. Basically, like, whenever Nintendo has control of something, they want to do everything in their old school, reliable ass way, but that's not always like the best way to do it. That's not always the most feasible way that it should be done. I mean, not feasible, the most optimal way it should be done.
The towers across the world have some kind of energy within them, and this has something to do with the misunderstood energy inside of PALs. At the very beginning of the game, you're tasked with seeking out the towers, which are the keys, and ultimately reaching the...
Yeah, now that makes me think, who the fuck left the tablet there?
The tree, which holds the truth. So it seems like we're gonna have many more answers in the future whenever we can actually reach the tree. Because right now, well, even after killing every boss of every tower, you still can't reach the damn tree. If you like this video, subscribe to
damn red border bullshit.
My channel for more survival game lore. And as always, I'll talk to you next time.
You have to mod the game to reach that fucking tree. Okay. I like this video. This taught me a lot about the lore. So I feel like most of the other videos are gonna be going over a lot of those similar details.
In this world, so I figured why not go in for round 2. Through the notes and story fragments.
Wait, is there another video I've seen by him?
Throughout the world.
Okay, subscriber, like, he made this video 12 days ago, so let me see if there's another video he has before that. Off action. Oh my gosh. Oh, I thought these were all Palworld videos for some reason. Palworld theory crafting. Okay, so that's another video. Okay, no, it's just that one. Okay. Because the way he opened up the video, I figured he had another video that went before that one. All right, let's watch that one first, then we'll watch the other one.
To make the next Conan video. So here's Grimdark Pokemon while you wait. This game has been heaven for me during my current recovery, and my main goal in single player is going to be to build an entire...
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm seeing everybody make skin-colored characters. Where the blue characters at? I want to see Jormungandr out this bitch.
...to take over the universe. Palworld truly is Grimdark.
Where the blue characters at?
It's like every dark joke we ever made about the franchise as kids brought to life.
Word. Because, like, one joke I used to always make is I don't understand why people throw their Pokemon and force their Pokemon to fight where, like, you could just go right there and help them.
Sadly, I've yet to see my favorite Pokemon, Coughing, represented here. I want a floating tumor of doom and nicotine that I can use against my enemies. Until then, let's begin. Grimdark.
Half off.
If you'd like to see my progress as I make new content, enlist today through YouTube memberships or Patreon to become a soldier in the Grimdark Legion. My thanks to the men and women who've already
I'm poor, I can't do that.
Names. Soldier in the Grimdark here. Location, the Galapagos Islands, which is very interesting as it implies the rest of the world to be free of these creatures. This, along with the significant amount of paramilitary operations in the area as well as the native population, would imply two things. 1. The rest of the world is likely normal with nations, armies, and everything else we would find today in a modern country.
Okay.
2. From the name, we can assume, though this is only a placeholder, that the islands are in the same area as the Galapagos Islands of our world. This follows the Pokemon tradition of different regions being named after real areas.
I didn't even know that. Like, so the Johto region is named after, like, someplace actually called Johto? Okay, then. Hey, look, I just learned a Pokemon fact, and I wasn't even looking for it.
If this is the case, it was an excellent choice, as the real-life location is hailed both for its cultural diversity and a vacation area given the large variety of animals present on the island. Our character, whether he be Neptune Poseidon the Great as mine is, or whoever yours is a random traveler to this land, lost somehow in it. We get a simple message at the beginning of the game. The towers are the key and the tree holds the truth. The towers refer to a combination.
And we can't even go to the fucking tree.
Of raiding towers, and the tree, visible almost from anywhere on the map, is where we're supposed to be headed towards, the very loose environmental main story of the game, if you will. Personally, I just want random world domination by means of Penguin, but do what you want. One important thing is that we simply have a Paldex, which would imply that we were sent here at some point as a researcher of some fashion to collect data on the mysterious monster.
Not necessarily, because I could just be a random curious ass traveler who is going somewhere completely unrelated.
Of the land.
Well, I mean, there's the part of the lore that old boy said in the last video where he said that we were like, hey, why is this spot on the map empty? Let's go see what's over there.
I assume that's up to us, so we could have a backstory of any of the various side factions that we later encounter. We can make a new character and then play through that. Though,
excuse me?
Honestly, I think I'm the only one who plays these games this way. I mean, it's a survival game, so as you've probably been waiting for, here are a few of my favorite pals and their designs. Ever since I understood the weakness of the mammalian form, I craved the sanctity of flightless avian power. Pangolin is a pal very similar to my favorite starter Pokemon from the last game I ever played in that series, Diamond, Piplup. This was a very long time ago, and I was much younger, but even then I wanted to create an imperial force of penguins which could annihilate my enemies, both for the obvious joke and also to drink their blood, skin them alive. But sadly, in Diamond I realized Piplup was the only penguin on the menu. No longer. Its Paldex entry reads the following.
Excuse me.
The feathers of this pal have all but disappeared, but sadly, its desire to fly has remained as strong as ever. Even now, it tries to fly in any way it can. And it will fly. It will fly through the powers of military government.
Nah, that motherfucker gonna fly through all the tasks I put on his to-do list. Fuck you talking about?
Mental control.
Come here, let me work you.
Pals and all.
Bro, pause.
So humans, I will make sure of it. On a much more serious note, War Sect speaks to my soul. His design feels far more indicative of a Digimon. I was always more of a Digimon kid than a Pokemon kid when it came to the shows, than a Pokemon, which is good as
so
a sign,
I.
as I hope
Actually, I was more of a Bakugan kid.
Future. Its entry reads, the ultra-hard armor surrounding its body is extremely strong and heat-resistant. Even a napalm blast would hardly leave a scratch. He's simple, straightforward, and cool. Well, not a penguin, and sadly...
I don't think y'all understand how strong something has to be to survive napalm.
Therefore inferior, and may have to be disposed of later. He is a capable as a fight enforcer, tank man of the coming empire. Now, Raindrix. Oh, I like Raindrix. Raindrix is actually very cool. I just very aesthetically pleasing design.
What the fuck does this have to do with Palworld lore?
Of total ice water doom upon all other foes will be Raindrix. I haven't caught one yet, but when I do, obviously I'm going to name them Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph, von Goldenbaum, and so on. It is, of course, a reindeer. Its Paldex entry reads, it's transparent...
Let me skip forward a note. You know what? Let me watch this video on 1.5. I'm bugging.
While less aesthetic, I want to make the King pal a part of it. He seems to be a hyper-charismatic penguin entity that I think I can use as a figurehead to my advantage, which will ultimately further the goals of the Penguin Empire. But regardless, that's an issue for later, and that's an issue for me personally. I do not want to burden my channel with it if they don't want to see more of this. I hope you enjoyed this stupid short video on a game I'm playing. I'm sure it will be just all the things you enjoy are coming soon. I still have to do that Berserk one and the Fist to avoid burdening the baby. There's a baby.
Okay, yeah, what the fuck? He just started playing Palworld. That's not what I was looking for.
You guys actually wanted lore in this world, so I figured why not go in for round 2. Through the notes and story fragments found throughout the world of the game, here is both the lore and my theory crafting on all factions of Palworld.
Okay, so I just watched the useless video for like 15 minutes, alright.
Before we get into the meat of this video, I'll tell you ahead of time that they are all equally hateable for different reasons, and surprisingly very well written for what this game is, and they, of course, all want to kill you. Let's begin. Grimdark. Have off if you'd like to... dark press.
See this part?
Motivated by money, the Galapagos Island Defense Force were originally the military police of the nation, turned into
PIDFK.
human traffickers, and even more crooked cops. Their leader, Marcus, originally started as a heroic noble defender of the people, only to find himself slowly becoming disillusioned by the people's addiction to a snorted stimulant similar to methamphetamine called Stims. Eventually,
no, this motherfucker became devious. I don't know who fucked this bitch, but this man just said, I'm gonna sell all the drugs in the world, and then I'm gonna lock up everybody I sell drugs to.
Finding himself tempted by the revenue brought in by these drugs, he slowly started poaching dealers from his competition until they were totally subsumed by, in secret, the PIDF. While the population's faction-neutral natives are unaware of the sane people arresting them for the drug use are the ones responsible for the spread of the drug in the first place. That being said, they are still the best defense against crime in the country, doing their job heroically and having remnants of the old PIDF outside of this area. However, should you stumble in life, you will find no help back up from this faction. An interesting dynamic exists in the Free Pal Alliance, which is often touted as the PETA faction. Here, their elite members who are part of the
I thought the same thing. Free pals,
Druidic Palworld,
so they could get on my plantation.
Eco-terrorists embracing a philosophy of pragmatism which indulges in killing as well as mild trafficking of pals, despite the 5 commandments of their ideology forbidding it. Their leader, a priestess figure named Lily, seems to worship a partner grunts who are eco-terrorists embracing a philosophy of pragmatism which indulges in killing as well as mild trafficking of pals.
I forgot about that. Yeah. The Free Pal Alliance, she's probably the most holy one in there. Everybody else is just...
Despite the 5 commandments of their ideology,
big poopy heads.
Their leader, a priestess
and
hypocrite, seems to worship a partner Lylene like a goddess.
What the fuck is a hypocrite, bro? I was trying to say hypocrite. My brain is relaxed because my brain is not in like content mode right now. My brain is in chill, relax, watch video mode. That's why I haven't been saying too much.
For healing her wounds and restoring her vitality. She is also a deeply ignorant idealist who is totally unknowing of the crimes of those beneath her in the FBA. They are a druid turned eco-terrorists turned crime family, but then all of those things.
Where they my bosses up this bitch.
1. Thou must not eat pals, but lamb balls taste so good. Thou must not overwork pals.
Hey! This man just said balls taste so good. Pack them up, guys. Clip it and ship it.
Like create my beautiful penguin war machine. 3. Thou must not abuse pals. Well, now you're just asking too much. 4. Thou must not use pals for experiments. Oh, come on. Just once. 5. Thou must risk thy life. Thou must risk thy life to protect pals. Well...
Technically, it would be thine going right there, but okay.
People should be, rightfully so. They're written off. Time to end their lives. While little is known about the Brothers of the Eternal Pyre, to the point where they almost seem to be a joke faction headed by a hip-hop or rapper figure known as Axel, who rhymes, but it is unclear whether these rhymes are also hymns. We don't know really anything about him. The names of their elite members being comrades, and the common theory that they split off from the highly unethical PAL Genetic Research Unit would imply that they are a commune-based
very highly unethical.
Assumed peace with pals where human and pal life is considered equally. The youngness of their faction is shown...
Okay, I mess with it. Excellent or Cirque, they might be the best faction. They just say, hey, we want everybody to have equality. Martin Luther Powell. Martin Luther Powell King.
They are a small in-number group, and that they have no low-ranking members, meaning they aren't big enough for it yet. So that's pretty much the Brothers of the Eternal Pyre. I do like their aesthetics. I like the electric look of the leader. I like the idea of something of a...
Yeah, that's the thing that's lacking. Their fucking aesthetic sucks. Black Panthers had fire-ass fits. These motherfuckers here just... wearing some bullshit.
Neutral faction being present. I also just like the idea of, even though all the factions we're going over today are obviously just terrible people, genuinely terrible people. So far we went over the eco-terrorists and the drug pushers, and now we have this. What I really do hope is that in the future there's some type of faction reputation system that we can use to make alliances with and trade with these various...
Yeah! I was about to say that. That would also be a really good feature to add. And I feel like the way they add it, though, they would have to play it carefully because there is a chance that they over implement it and make it too deep for the system of game that it is, to the point to where it might alienate audiences, which is not always a bad thing, because Baldur's Gate is an extremely niche game, yet it sold 20 million copies on just PC alone, so...
I think that would really make Palworld a very unique experience. That and the option to turn off hunger, because I really like Pokemon with guns, but I don't like feeding everything.
Just go on a fucking menu. When was this made? Okay, yeah, no, this is definitely after the update. Yeah. Since 1.2, you could do that, and the current version of the game is 1.4, so you just weren't paying attention.
The Rain Syndicate are a traditional criminal organization centered around PAL trafficking for lots and lots of cash. Their leader retained her position by developing a psychic connection to her pal Griswold. Zoe is able to utilize lightning-based abilities the same as her pal. which is very interesting because pals are often shown to be magical.
Zoe what?
Utilize lightning-based abilities. The Senator retained her position by developing a psychic connection to her pal Griswold. Zoe is able to utilize lightning-based abilities the same as her pal, which is very interesting.
I did hear that,
pals
right?
Are often shown to be magical. I put that in the script somewhere in the future, but pals are shown to be magical. This does make them unique from Pokemon and Digimon. Pokemon are almost expected to be accepted on cartoon logic, whereas the kinds of Digimon obviously have the entire digital world. But pals being magical, I think, does set them apart. I think that is actually a good part of the world building. Obviously, due to the method of her attaining power, the Rain Syndicate is the most divided, thus most erratic random group, solely out for profit. Given the geography of the Galapagos Islands,
no one among thieves.
Every raiding party of them in the Rain Syndicate like their own brand of pirates. We're based.
Oh, okay, that's actually interesting to think about. So, like, the Rain Syndicate is not so much a specific gang, but more like split up people who rep the same gang but may not necessarily know each other. Okay, so let me explain it like this. Let's say you're a police officer, right? Just because you're a police officer in New York and you go to Florida and say that you're a police officer, they'll have a certain respect for you and a certain common experience with you because you're both police officers, but you're not both NYPD, but you are both PD, if that makes sense. That's the best explanation I could give to explain what he said. So y'all aren't necessarily connected directly, but y'all are like indirectly connected through shared experiences and stuff like that.
Basically free to do anything so long as it makes money and they do not go against their boss. That's pretty much it. These are the kind of not Team Rocket faction. I enjoy them a little bit, not too much. They're the only
not Team Rocket.
Kind of experience with. They all wear the Adidas jackets.
Competent Team Rocket.
Pants, and they slop squat, and they're trying to ruin my base with baseball bats, and one of them had a gun, and I killed him with a bow. It made me feel like Robin Hood or like Finland during World War I. It felt very good. The Mad Science faction
I poked him.
is led by the Dr. Frankenstein, was created through...
I just got that, Vic. So for those of you who don't know, basically what he's doing is he's Frankensteining, which is a term that means he's taking a part of this, a little part of this and a little part of that, and splicing together DNA and stuff like that. He's Frankensteining together pals and then the original Frankenstein story. The name of the scientist that built Frankenstein, which really the green monster y'all know that goes, first off, he was originally gray. Second off, the reason why the Frankenstein's monster, not Frankenstein's monster, the person who made Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein was his last name. His first name was Victor. That's why they named him Victor, because Victor Frankenstein, Victor is Frankensteining. You get it. Just in case you didn't understand that and you didn't pick up on that reference, I'm explaining it to you.
Magic mixed with genetic engineering mixed with a kind of alchemical cannibalism. Pals in this world are repeatedly stated to be magical, thus he seems to represent what happens when science tries to comprehend the incomprehensible. Shadowbeak being the
according to the rules of science, everything will eventually be comprehensible.
Like Frankenstein's monster.
Like Tony Stark is. Magic is just science we don't understand yet. I'm gonna keep saying it, bro. I'm gonna keep saying it.
The methods previously mentioned, along with stem cell research on pals. Effectively, that's what the
Hey, yo.
As you play the game, I'll leave that up for you to decide. As you may have guessed, the main goal of this faction is to study everything related to or around pals in a scientific context regardless of morality. They're your classic mad scientist supervillains, and they're kind of in that way the anti-PETA. I know that we went over the Rain Syndicate and they seem like the anti-PETA because they're trafficking in pals, but the truth is that that's always a flip of the coin as to whether or not they're going to a good or bad home. Probably bad. It's probably going to be...
Yeah, I was about to say, trafficking something is not the same as Frankensteining, because when you Frankenstein something, like when you traffic something, it was already alive and you're just being a shitty person and taking advantage of what's already there. There's I'm not trying to sit here and like power scale crimes, which crime is the worst, but I will say it is to be noted that there's a difference between trafficking something and like giving birth to something or creating or eugenicizing something just to fuck with it. Like there's a big difference.
Probably still bad people, always bad people. But the true anti-PETA are literally just, we will use them for all the experience. All of them, all the time. The Penguin Empire is my homebrew faction.
The fuck? I'm not gonna lie, if I was walking around in the Arctic and I seen a penguin with an AR, I'm going home. You telling me a penguin can shoot me in my head? Nah, I'm good, bro. I don't want to fight that.
The philanthropist adventurer Coswald Obblepot, after the destruction of his father's crime family, he tried to start a joint operation with the children of other mobsters to no avail. However, a failed robbery at a museum of a white penguin statue, wink wink Lovecraft, gave him visions of the Pal Pinglet and the Palapagos Islands. What Coswald couldn't do in Potham City, he would do on the Palapagos Islands. For penguins.
Yo, what the fuck? This is a shameless Batman ripoff. Botham City? Really? I don't know if he's saying that or if those are in the notes, and I'm not gonna go check the notes, so I'm gonna just assume that they are. Palworld devs, like, damn, they stealing shit left and right, and I love to see it. Because, like, just to quickly address one of the things that people have been saying about this game left and right, is that they're mad that all this game does is steal from other games and stuff like that. And that's one of those things where you gotta really look at people and understand that people don't know the history of just anything, period. Most art, actually not even most, all art is built up of somebody looking at somebody else's art at minimum and going, that's cool, I want to art too. Even if they don't go, I want to art like that, and they just put their own spin on it eventually, every artist started making art because they seen someone else doing it and go, I want to art at the minimum. And like usually it's I want to art like that, and then like I said, over time as they develop and get good and they develop their own sense and style of how they want to do things, it eventually becomes unique enough to not be derivative, to where somebody can say, oh, I can trace this back to this, but they're not the same. That's what Palworld is doing. Hold on, let me hit my alarm for 7:30. That's what Palworld is doing. They're not directly copying anybody.
Here's a joke for Valentine's Day. How did the fire fall in love? It found its perfect match.
That shit was ass and it interrupted my thoughts. I don't even know what I was in the midst of saying. Fuck.
For the Empire. So that's my off-the-cuff take so far on the various factions of the Palapagos Islands. I don't take these videos seriously because I think it's pretty obvious that this entire game is intended to be a parody of monster capture games.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Well, yeah, it's also a parody. But like every sort of work of art is either derivative or inspired by art before what came. It's like the reason why, like, whenever people tried to make the argument that AI art is stealing other people's art in order to make art, like, to me, I look at it like, are you sure you want to go down that path? Because, like, if you make a cubist art painting, I'm pretty sure that, well, not that. That's a bad example because the copyright on Pablo Picasso's work already expired. But like, basically, what I'm trying to say is like your work derives from somebody else's work. Like, for example, there's a lot of rappers right now that were inspired by Chief Keef. Does that mean every song you made is a Chief Keef song? No. Does that mean you were inspired by Chief Keef and you like his music and you said, yo, I want to make music like that, and you developed your own twist to it? Yeah. That don't mean that Chief Keef should go around suing all these people for getting inspired by his music. No, let them be inspired. That's a good thing, because if they didn't have anybody to inspire them to do music, our music would suck. And like, contrary to popular belief of a bunch of old niggas sitting around, your music that shit. No, nigga, the mainstream music sucks, and it has always sucked.
Pokemon, or even some of the Digimon games that came out. At the end of the day, what's your favorite, not Team Rocket? For me, it's the PIDF. I really love their leader's designs, as he's...
I hate the PIDF. Smoking on the PIDF. Reaganomics had that. Y'all Reaganomics working ass bitches, bro.
Like a fusion of Giovanni...
War on drugs ass.
...from LA Noire, in my opinion. I think it has a fusion of A and B. Even has a little bit of Yugi Moto, I think, in there. Just obviously, I think he's the most unique faction here. And what homebrew faction do you plan to create in-game?
Nah, I feel like... Alexis Axel, whatever the fuck his name is, the rapper one, I feel like he's the most unique one, for the simple fact that like the other PAL leaders are more grounded in reality and based in like things that ideas and concepts that further the lore and try to say something, versus him, like his whole thing is that he's supposed to be a shitty rapper. I think that just by default makes him so unique because he's so different from everybody else. This may be your favorite, but I think that statement is factually incorrect.
Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and have a lovely night. Right. And since you guys wanted it, I also wanted to give you a little update of Coswald Obblepot's Penguin Empire in progress. And of course,
yeah, respectfully, I don't care. And I like the video. Okay, cool. On to the next video. 13 minutes. Shocking power lore contents cast. Wait, is this just him reading the diaries? Because if so, that's pretty cool. This is the complete Castaway Journals contents from Palworld, which include where the name Palworld came from, how the Palpatines. Wait, what? Oh, how Pal Spheres. I thought that said Palpatines. I was about to say, y'all talk about the Emperor, how the Pal Spheres were made, the dangers of Palworld Towers, PWT. P7. We gonna spin an RPT and Palworld. The dangers of Palworld Towers and Pals. Pal PT.
These are the recovered journals of a castaway.
Alright.
XX. This world harbors secrets. I was convinced of this when I began re-examining the globe's geographical features for my research.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to put this on 1.0.
Towards the end of last year, looking over the islands of the world, I noticed something strange. It felt like a certain area was empty, so to speak. I knew there should have been something there. It was unbelievable to me how no one could have noticed such an obvious absence.
Somebody noticed, they just didn't care. Because they either didn't care or didn't understand what they were seeing. Because one thing I've learned about like history and stuff like that is there are a lot of groundbreaking inventions and things of that nature in history where somebody looked at something that happens very often and they thought about it differently. Like the easiest example I can give is the apple falling on Isaac Newton's head, even though that story's not all the way true. But let's just use that as an example. Apples have fallen on people's heads before Isaac Newton. Plenty of other things. Apples, bowling balls, my meat on your mama's head, Drake's meat on my timeline. A lot of things have fallen due to gravity. But people will just see things like that and think, oh yeah, it fell. That's what things do. They fall when you drop them. But he sat there and said, but why do things fall when you drop them? What is causing them to drop in the first place that makes it so that they can drop and hit something? And then from there on, he theorized and helped pioneer the idea of physics and gravity itself. So like, it's not that nobody noticed. Nobody thought about it critically because a lot of people are just thinking about their day-to-day and so wrapped up in their day-to-day that they might see something that could lead to a groundbreaking idea and never think about it. Because you gotta realize everything that's in the world will always be in the world. It's just a matter of you noticing it. So for example, let's say they find out a new element on the periodic table. That element is not new. It was here the whole time. We just didn't notice it. You get what I'm saying? Like, since the earth was created, that element was here. We didn't notice it. Or like, for example, let's say panda bears. Panda bears aren't native to America. So if I go to China for the first time and I see a panda, I can't just go say, oh, I discovered pandas. No, motherfucker. You never seen a panda. You ain't discovered nothing.
With a few months of preparation, I was successfully able to guess the location of an island based on my hypothesis. With conviction in my heart, I chartered a boat and set out for the island alone. Day 0. Strangely enough, this island is shrouded in a thick fog that makes discerning it from the sea impossible. Attempting to steer away from the fog, I turned rudder, only to be enveloped by an even deeper fog. Just then, someone attacked me. I have no idea where the attack came from, but my boat was all but destroyed. With nothing but wreckage left, I was still able to make it to the coast. The island exists in no database. It is an island hidden from the world. Why is it being hidden? Why isn't it on?
One thing I'm gonna say is like the island being hidden is like a parallel to Themyscira from Greek mythology, which even though I kind of said that earlier, basically if you don't know, Themyscira is the island that Wonder Woman is from. Excuse me, that's all full of women, and basically the island is hidden away from all reality, and like anybody that tries to get close to it, they can't like do it. They can't get close to it, and all they can see is like the mist and stuff like that. So you could go look into Themyscira more, y'all. I'm not gonna explain it. I don't feel like doing all that explaining.
Was that attack of my vessel part of an attempt at complete concealment? There are more mysteries than I can count. but I am resolved to discover all of this island's secrets. Day 1-1. I found a strange device on the shore. It appears to be some kind of belay.
I feel like whoever's making this video, y'all could have made this more visually interesting than just a fucking tape on the screen, but
Trap shit. But its odd design looks like no.
Like, for example, one thing I learned, and I'll put y'all on, one thing I learned in something that pushes your content up in the algorithm, and always know, and I'm not going to go into this too deep, but always know that the algorithm at the end of the day is decided by humans. So if you put up a video and you're not getting views, it's a good chance that video might just fucking suck. And that's not always the case, but it's like a 60, I'll say like an 80% chance that the video fucking sucked. That's number one. Number two, putting captions on the screen is really good for your videos, especially like right now. And what the meta is, for the simple fact that it gives your eyes something to pay attention to while you're watching a video. Because sometimes just seeing the person sitting there talking, or like something like this, watching the screen and just seeing a tape on the damn screen is boring. But if you, like I said, do something like, I don't know, put the captions on the screen for the whole time, or like you could have it like a piece of paper with all the words written down so that we could read along with it or something like that, and then have like the captions at the bottom. Like something like that would have benefited this video very well.
That I've ever seen. The device
like this video, it's good quality, but this video just makes me want to redo it and like add some more flair and pizzazz to it.
Of recording images.
Because I feel like half of this video is I'm sorry, I paused like that. But this video, like the views on it, and no disrespect, are being carried by the fact that nobody else is doing it. Because I'm pretty sure if literally anybody else did this video, like they might not have the voice acting, but if they got a hold of this voice acting, which I could literally download and redo if I felt like it, and they could make a video with, I don't want to say better output because that sounds demeaning, but they could make the video more interesting.
And displaying information about what is shown in them. I've decided to take photographs of the island using this device and use them along with the journal to document what I find. Day 1-2. Soon after stepping foot on the island, I discovered a living creature. Not only that, but every living thing I found here is like nothing I've ever seen. On the other hand, normal creatures you might find on any other island seem to be almost entirely absent. It seems the island has quite a unique ecosystem. I know.
What is it? Oh, Charles Darwin. That's basically, what the fuck was the name of his theory? Where basically if you create two separate environments and let what happen, like just let nature progress in those two environments, but have them completely cut off to each other so they have no shared anything besides the fact that they're both on Earth, two completely different ecosystems and environments will evolve. Damn. No, it's not evolution, it's something else, and it's not Darwinism, because that's survival of the fittest. Yeah, I can't think of it right now, but that's basically what he just described.
Is not the only special feature of this place. I've decided to use this device I found to record the various species I recover. Day 2. As I explored around on foot, I found a sphere that emits a peculiar blue light. I threw it without much thought, and the creature it landed near transformed into what seemed to be light, as though the sphere had absorbed it. Unbelievable.
It did.
When I tried to throw the same sphere again, the creature reappeared from the light and stared at me with what seemed to be an amicable expression. As I began to create a shelter to protect me from the elements, the creature astonishingly began to help me. How useful, wanting to deepen my connection with this living thing.
And I'm gonna exploit that.
I christened this land Palpagos Island. Day 3. I discovered what appears to be an ancient ruin while exploring this island. Did humans once live? Finding some kind of mural on the walls, I deciphered the symbols and found that it was none other than the instructions on how to make the strange sphere fall. Using Paldium, the name I've given to the blue ore found throughout the island, as a catalyst, it is possible to transform mere wood and stone into one of those spheres. I must record this method for production on my device. There happened to be a weakened pal near me, unable to move, rolling a sphere towards it. I was able to capture another pal. Day 5. I've since befriended several pals. Some are similar to the sheep and birds, others to cats.
I like this video a fucking lot, but Jesus Christ, this is hard to get through.
Each also appears to be skilled at different kinds of work. They divvy up the work on their own accord and make life easier for me here. I'm sure the ancient civilization here must have worked with pals to prosper. Pals are not all
part of them, at least,
but they all work quite diligently. If pals help build those rooms,
that's their excuse for the AI in the game being very dumb.
Must be some reason why they were destroyed. Day 6. There's something odd that's bothered me since I arrived here. Far off in the distance, I can see what looks like an enormous tree, big enough to be the so-called wilderness spoken about in so many myths. Still, it's so large that no amount of fog would be enough to obscure it from view from outside the island. The only hypothesis I can come up with is that something other than the fog enveloping this island prevents it from being seen by the outside world. In other words, some kind of mechanism must be preventing it from being seen from the outside. It seems likely that the mysterious powers these pals have something to do with this. Day 8. I caught sight of a pal riding on the back of a deer-like pal. Thinking it was a great opportunity to try something new, I tried attaching a saddle to a similar pal and riding it. It went better than expected. The pal was quite easy to ride. This will surely expand the area I can explore around the island. Day 10. Today, I decided to take my pals on a bit of an excursion. A tower-like object visible in the distance had piqued my curiosity. After walking a while, I encountered another human. When I tried to talk to them, however, they didn't say a word. They just pointed a gun at me.
They didn't even know who you were, and it was still on site. He said, "Oh wait, I'm on TikTok." He said, "Yo, who are you and what you doing? State your business." Man said, "State your business, foreigner." Like, damn, bro, relax.
They're on the island. It would make sense to consider them remnants of an ancient civilization. But their attire suggests that they're likely from the same era as I am. Are they just like me, from the outside? Or has the ancient
They're just like me for real.
On its own accord? I was in a rough spot, but my sheep pal protected me, allowing me to escape unscathed. I immediately returned to my
sheep shield
and found that all my pals were safe. There's still so much to learn about this island. Day 11. I had no choice but to run away yesterday.
Like, this shit is... It's piquing my interest because of story, and I want to know exactly what the logs are saying, but goddamn, this shit is comically boring.
I can't stop thinking.
A voice filter on some audio with a damn tape rolling around in the background is not enough, my boy.
About that tower. Just as I decided to fashion some gear to try approaching it again, I heard the sound of gunfire behind me. That person from yesterday is after me. I couldn't sit by and do nothing. I mobilized all my pals for a counterattack. Before I knew it, they got carried away and killed the assailant. It's not like I killed anyone directly. There's no one to blame here. Day 12-1. As I approached the tower for the second time, I once again heard the sound of gunfire. It seems there are groups that have banded together and are now fighting for territory. I believe they're
literally what's happening.
To fight this battle. This place is
excuse me.
I believe they're mostly using pals to fight this battle.
Not according to what I seen. They was using guns just to fight this battle. They was pulling up on each other with ARs and crossbows. So I don't know where the fuck you get that information from.
This place isn't safe. I need to be stealthy if I am to wander around here. Day 12-2. While taking a breather, I tried to figure out who those people were again, but to no avail. If they're from the outside, like I am, it would seem strange that such a large group would not have information about leaving the island. I can only come...
That's one of those things where you got to change your perspective. Maybe they don't not have information about leaving the island. Maybe they've never left, so they've never left and they've never thought about it, so they just don't care.
To the conclusion that they're remnants of the ancient civilization here. Fighting for survival. I can't fathom why or how they have guns, but it seems only natural that they must have...
They do. That's all that matters.
That, or it's possible they're imitating humans that have drifted on the shore for whatever reason.
That's actually an interesting ass thought to have.
Day 12 days.
Oh, I thought I had mute.
After a long journey, I finally managed to arrive at the tower. I'm nearly certain it's a relic from the ancient civilization. However, I have no guesses as to why it was built. Still, I can feel that there is an energy flowing throughout the place.
Jesus, shit is putting me to sleep. Like, this shit is comically boring. What the fuck?
Similar to that of Paldium ore. When I touched an inscribed stone slab, I found myself transported to some strange place. What I found was an enormous spell and a human in control of it. I ran away in terror, and before I knew it, I found myself returned near the tower.
Not me though. I ain't run from nothing. You gonna have to clap me. Clap me or masturbate me. I mean, clap me or jack me.
Lived in luxury alongside palace. Yet, due to some unknown reason, that way of life was lost. Perhaps it was a massive natural disaster, or maybe a struggle broke out for scarce spells and resources.
I'm not even gonna lie. I tried to make it through this video. I'm not. Shit's so fucking boring. It is boring and interesting at the same time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna pack it up there. This lore dive is really fun, and if y'all have, oh jeez, oh, that shit was so boring. Finishing watching it was like waking up. Oh, jeez, that was, oh jeez. Just give me a second. It's like, you know that good cracking sensation in your chest, like when you just waking up and you flex? That's what I just got. But I'll say that the lore of this game is giving me an interest, and I definitely want to do a whole lot more lore dives and look at some lore dives of this game, but I haven't. This game is very young and it's very new, and it just went into, I mean, not into, excuse me, it just went on sale and stuff like that, so I'm not gonna get like too crazy about the fact that there aren't that many lore dives out there and stuff like that. But what I will say is, if I do find enough more interesting videos, or this video goes up and y'all find stuff and send it to me, please do let me know, because I want to dive deep into the lore of this game, because this is one of those games where the end game introductions to the lore aren't gonna be very good. So if y'all have anything good to send me, don't be afraid to send it to me at all my platforms. Because of YouTube's new stupid ass rule, the links down below, I can't even like guarantee that it's gonna work when you're seeing this video. It should, but YouTube is fucking dumb when it comes to that. But whatever. With that being said, peace out, y'all. Don't forget to eat the booty like a buddy. Okay, bye.